Cool, so welcome to Win Me the Lottery. How you doing, Chris?
Very well, Tony. How are you?
I'm good. So this podcast, what's this podcast about, Chris?
This podcast is all about us playing the lottery every week and trying to win it and make our fortune.
That sounds amazing. I think it's something, I was looking at I want to create a podcast, Chris. And what is something that I do every week? I play lottery.
And you do it every single Saturday?
Every single Saturday. And so far, Chris, I haven't won the lottery.
Have you won a 5, a 10 or?
Actually, I have. So, okay, I take that, but let me
let's be honest. You have won the lottery.
I have won the lottery, but not the lottery jackpot.
Not the jackpot.
So, the reason why we've started this podcast, is I've been playing the lotto for so many years, still haven't won the jackpot.
How many years have you been playing it for?
I'm going to give away my age now, Chris.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, let's just say it's over 15. Since I've been legal. Since it's legal.
So you are more than 16 years old?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I think our audience is, I'm happy to share that information. Yeah. But back to it, Chris, it's the sense that I've been doing it for over 15 years. I haven't won. So something's got to change.
Something's got to change. And, do you feel this is about taking people on that journey with you? Who knows? Maybe somebody who tunes into this podcast might win it.
I need help. This is the whole point.
You do need a lot of help.
I need your help, Chris. I need our listeners to help me manifest the winning numbers. And really, I want to take them on this journey. And should I let you know how I see the format working?
Yeah, go for it.
So the way I see this working is every week, if we're willing to commit.
Yep.
Or every other week. Let's see how far we go. Is that the first segment? We're going to look at what the last Saturday's draw was. What were the winning numbers? We go through them, and then we look at what numbers did I pick. Did I win?
Yeah.
And also, what was the jackpot? So the jackpots are going to vary every week. So this week, it was 4 million. We're going to talk about what can we do with 4 million.
Is 4 million enough?
That's the question.
That's the question we'll come to.
We're getting kicked in the teeth here, Chris. Inflation, cost of living. Is 4 million enough to live the way that you want to live in London?
Absolutely not. But we'll come to that. We'll come to that in detail later.
We will come to that. Second segment is all about our topic of the week. So it's going to differ every week. We want to talk about our relationship with money. We want to talk about what you should or what you shouldn't do if you win the lottery.
Yep.
So really, the first topic of this week is we're going to talk about first thing you would do. So we're going to really delve into that in the second segment.
The moment you win.
Yeah. The moment I win, what would I do?
Yeah.
And every week, it's going to vary. We're going to talk about morality. Because everything's game. And then the final segment, the third segment, is picking next week's winning lottery numbers. So how are we going to do that, Chris?
I think what we need to do is, like you said before, manifest what those winning numbers are going to be. We look at what's been happening this week. Have there been any signs? Maybe there's been a sign in the news or in something that you've bumped into in the street on what those numbers could be.
Exactly. I feel like maybe I've been walking through life blind. Maybe there's some subliminal signs.
Is that why you're wearing the glasses?
Exactly. Maybe I need to put another set of glasses on.
Yep.
Maybe I just need to pay attention. Maybe I've been asleep all this time. Are there numbers that are slapping me in the face that I'm not seeing? It's screaming at me when I'm reading a story on the internet. Yeah. Maybe it's something on the news, and it's there, but I'm not.
You haven't paid attention to the numbers.
I haven't paid attention. Maybe this is a route for someone to message in and go, Tony, you should be playing these numbers.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to explore. I don't know. You ready, Chris?
I'm ready. I feel that we are going to draw this jackpot towards us. My only question is, what happens when we do win it next Saturday? Are we going to continue with the pod? Well, that's what we're going to delve into now.
That is a very great question, Chris. I mean, you've got to tune in next week to see if we're still here.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. I guess, as we said, segment 1. So, last Saturday's lotto draw.
And what was the jackpot for the lotto draw last week, Tony?
I'm not going to lie, Chris, I was a little bit deflated.
Oh, really?
£4 million.
4 million Great British pounds.
You know what?
It's not enough, right?
I'm always a fan when it goes in double digits.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we talk about £4 million, I mean, like, what could you get for £4 million? So one of the things as an Arsenal fan that I saw wasn't last week. It was, transfer windows closed.
Yeah.
But Rob Holding, a seasoned Premier League defender,
but one of the best teams in the Premier League.
one of the best. Well, yeah, it is the best.
One, sorry,
It's the best team.
Yeah.
He went for, from what I read, was £4 million, and I think that is almost like a crime. I think Arsenal are terrible at selling players.
What's happened to Pepe?
He had his contract ripped up, I believe.
So he's gone for free.
Yes.
And he cost 70 million.
He did.
So how many times would you need to win this jackpot? Just less than 20 times in order to buy one Pepe.
There you go. So 4 million.
It's not enough.
I'm not turning my nose at it, but just to give you an idea, I mean, 4 million. I was walking through Farringdon. Where we're based in London.
Yeah.
One of my favourite parts of London. Looking through an estate agent's window, penthouse, 4 beds, 4.5. I couldn't even afford to buy that. So,
Just not enough.
I'll still have to work. I'll still have to carry on working if I wanted that penthouse. And then again, it's all about lifestyle.
You'd have to live somewhere awful like Chelsea. Do you think you'd afford somewhere in Chelsea for that?
2 beds, doable. But just to give our kind of listeners who say Uzbekistan, what is 4 million equivalent to? That's 60 billion of Uzbekistani som. So, we're in the billions if you've got 4 million.
So this jackpot would be good if we lived and worked in Uzbekistan.
Yes.
But it's not adequate for the UK. Is that what you said? Just to recap. That's what I'm hearing.
For my personal opinion, I think 4 million, I would still feel a little bit nervous about retiring early. We're talking about financial freedom, and 4 million can buy you that, but it depends on what your lifestyle is.
And that's the sort of thing we need to talk about. But just to come back to Uzbekistan, so you said 60 billion. Yes. 60 billion Uzbeki som.
If I read that correctly.
If you read that, what is the average salary in Uzbekistan?
I guess for the list, I actually researched this. It looks like an average salary, yearly salary, it's about £1,000 sterling.
£1,000?
Yes.
Per year, did you say?
I believe so, yes.
Oh.
So, we're doing all right in the UK, really.
Yeah, get it into context.
So, again, it's about 4 million. I'm not going to sniff my nose at it. The goal is to win the jackpot.
Out.
We haven't done it this week. So if we go through what the winning numbers were for this week, we're looking at
Let's see.
15, 20, 39, 49, 59, and the bonus ball was 56. Other details is, machine name was Arthur.
I've always wondered, why does the machine have a name?
I believe it's named after, the Knights of the Round Table or something.
Oh, right.
Again, it's something to explore through this podcast.
Yeah.
Ball set 3. So again,
ball set of 3.
Yeah, ball set 3.
I've only got 2.
Yeah, indeed. So do I, Chris.
Okay.
But they went with 3 this time.
3.
Just to give an idea of what were my numbers. So my numbers were 12, 30, 46, 47, 48, 57.
You were so close because I'm just having a look. So 46, 47, 48. You've gone for 3 in a row there. And 43 and 49 were both pulled out. But what I'm seeing here, and 57. You got 57, but the lucky dip was 56. So is that a big fat zero for our first week? Have
You know what? You know what I think we've gone wrong?
Yeah.
I started off this, this is why I need help.
Yeah.
Lucky dip isn't cutting it. I'm doing every lucky dip. I need to be more conscious on my number choices.
Yeah.
And this is what we're trying to solve on this podcast.
Yeah, lucky tip just doesn't do it.
It's like pulling a number from thin air, really.
Boy, it's quite literally, isn't it? It's totally random.
Which we are kind of doing, but with a more conscious effort.
With a it's all about the consciousness. Are you aware of the decisions that you're making? Would you accept a job if you didn't know what it was about?
Depends how much
they were
job
offering.
Was yes. Again, it's all about financial freedom.
Yeah. Okay, let's say they offer you 100 grand, but you don't know what the job is going to entail at all.
I think the question is am I open to nefarious activity?
Yeah.
At this moment in time, I'll probably say yes.
So 100 grand annual salary.
Yes.
You don't know what your job responsibilities are going to be.
Yeah.
But you do know that someone somewhere is going to be harmed by that job. Would you?
What do you mean by harmed?
That's what it says in the contract. I didn't make it up.
Okay, if we talk about harmed like financially.
Well, we don't know, but yeah.
So we're down around like gambling companies here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or are we talking about physically harm? So are we talking about sex trafficking?
It could be. It could be. We don't know.
Okay, this is why.
So where do you draw the line at sex trafficking?
I think I have to. Yeah. At 100k for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we've established that, I didn't win this week. But that's not to say I can't win next week.
No. As we said, this was a lucky dip.
Yeah.
This wasn't a conscious thing. The machine has spat it out for you. I think what we really need to do now is think about a conscious way of manifesting that draw towards us.
Yes.
By looking at what's going on in the world, engaging with what's around us.
I believe so. I think you're so right, Chris, is that, again, it's all about opening our eyes and see what the winning numbers are. But I'm thinking, when we talk about manifestation, and we're moving on the second segment now, it's all about our topic of the week.
Yes.
So our topic of the week is first thing you would do if you won the lottery. So it's almost like we're manifesting, if we won it, what's the first thing?
It's like that positive attraction, right?
Yes.
You've got to put yourself in the mindset that you are going to win the lottery. And then it might just happen.
Exactly. So
I'm just thinking about it now. I've picked my numbers. I'm just watching it on the TV. Dale Winton's there. Sorry, he's not alive anymore, is he?
No.
No. Who does it now?
I actually don't know. I just see it online.
Okay. This is... Yeah. Whoever it is. Maybe it's just an alert on my phone. Is that what happens? On the lottery app, does it just pop up and say, you've hit the jackpot, baby? I don't know. But anyway, I'm just picturing
We're manifesting it.
It says, okay, your notification, you've just won £4 million. I turn around, I'm home alone, as I normally am, quite a lonely chap. So what I'd probably do is just head straight down to Wetherspoons. Nice. And that's because it's one of my happy places, right? And what I've worked out is the last time I went to Wetherspoons, they had Green King IPA for £2 a pint. So if I won £4 million, I could actually buy 2 million Green King IPAs. And how many, I could probably just buy the pub. I could just call up Tim Moss.
You might as well,
pub
Chris.
now.
Yeah. So you would be a pub. You'd be Peggy Mitchell.
Peggy Mitchell. Yeah.
Would I be allowed in your pub, Chris?
Absolutely.
Would I get drinks on the house?
No. So I'm trying to run a tight ship. I've only got £4 million. It's not enough.
Yeah, it's an investment. You're investing into a pub.
And I wasted most of the £4 million on 2 million Green King IPAs for the patrons.
Fair enough.
So I don't actually have much. But yeah, you'd be allowed in.
Okay, brilliant. I mean,
Just pay your own way. But yeah, I think Wetherspoons, that's where I'd go. Probably just go on my own, sit in the corner, just kind of think about it. What am I going to do with this money? And then probably as the night progresses, you think, well, hang on a minute. I'm going to have to tell somebody. And then you start ringing people up. That's the thing. When normally nobody ever wants to go out with you, if suddenly you call them up and you say, I've just won £4 million, I'm a millionaire, I think suddenly they're going to turn up to Wetherspoons. And then who knows what's going to happen? We buy a bottle of champagne. We dance on the tables. Who knows? Next time we go to Simmons, happy hour.
that sounds like the ultimate night out. Chris.
Yeah.
You know what? I would say I wouldn't call. First of all, I wouldn't call anyone that I won. That's
because they're tapping your phone, right?
Not only that.
The Russians. Is that what you meant?
Possibly. Again, this is another consideration. Just tapping your phone.
Yeah. Or Dale Winton, maybe, from Beyond the Grave. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Exactly. You can't be too careful. You've just won 4 million.
Yeah.
Do you want to let someone know straight away? That's the thing. Again, that's the question we need to explore. We need to really have a conscious look at what would be the first thing you would do. Going to the pub, having a few IPAs.
Green King or
Green King sounds
just
like the right
cheapest.
Sounds like the right route for you, Chris. Probably wouldn't be what the first thing I would do, Chris.
Okay, you go margarita.
I mean, the first thing I would do, Chris, if you want to know, is that I would probably just go to the bathroom and wash my face.
Just to sort of make sure that
I've won it. Yeah, I'll wash my face, give my face a couple of slaps, look at it again, and then, first thing I'm not going to do, I know I'm twisting it around, is that I'm not going to scream my head off. I don't want to alert the neighbour that I've won. I'm definitely not going to call my boss the next day and just say, see you later, I'm not coming in.
No, you've got to be rational about it.
Yeah, you've got to be rational, pull a sickie or something. Get your thoughts together. I mean, first thing I would do is, I'll tell my parents.
So you would tell your parents?
I'll tell my parents that I'm moving out, finally. I don't need their help. I can make it on my own. That's the first thing I would do. But when I think of it logically, I'm not going to get too emotional about it. You're just coming to this money. The money's not even in the bank yet. We need to double check these things. We want to make sure that the money's there.
You know what? On a serious note, if, as you say all this, okay, you've got to be very rational. I'd start thinking about my bank account. Where the hell am I going to put this £4 million? Does the Co-op Bank even have the bandwidth for £4 million? Quite possibly not. Coots. I'd probably call up Coots.
The things with Coots, do you need $1 million to open up an account?
Right, so I can only open it up after I've received.
You know what I'm thinking? We need to get someone from the Lotto to explain to us about this. I believe they must give the winner some advice about what banking options that they have. Because you're right, a lot of banking options, they only go up to $250,000.
And not only that, but of course, what is your compensation if you lose, if they go bust? I think it's normally up to 80 grand.
That's correct for a normal kind of retail current account.
You need 50 different accounts based on that.
Exactly. Again, a good problem we're going to explore. But then, when we think about this logically, let's be honest. The most sensible thing you can do, the first thing you should do, in my humble opinion, is to keep quiet.
Just don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone just yet.
Is that because people come begging? They'll treat you differently?
They'll treat you differently. They're always going to want a piece. You want to have a logical head on and go, I've got 4 million. My life's changed. What do I want to do? I don't want to start, it'll easy come, easy go, right? Do you want your second cousin that you barely speak to, who's been to prison, going...
Oh, my second cousin's been to prison.
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you happy to give them a slice?
Absolutely not.
Well, there you go. So you want to kind of take, I would say, a measured approach, which we will explore in future episodes. It's really about who would you tell, and in what order.
They do say don't tell anybody. You know, I've been on threads on Reddit, and people have said, do not tell a soul. First thing you do, hire a financial advisor.
Makes sense.
Right. Do you need a financial advisor? I think as we move through these podcasts, people are going to realise they've got us. They don't need a financial advisor.
Yeah. What's our rate, Chris? We're going to discuss that later. We can discuss that later. But you're right, Chris. I think financial advice, or people talk about if you're in America, I guess. I know we're talking UK specific, but again, it could apply to the UK as hiring a lawyer. Just make sure that, money's there, everything's,
Big question. You can go public. Obviously, if you're saying you're not going to tell anyone, you wouldn't go public.
I wouldn't.
No.
I don't understand why people would go public. Is that a requirement in order to get the jackpot?
No. You can choose in the UK whether to go public or not. Certain people have. I remember Euro Millions winners won 70 million or something. They went public. Mikey Carroll. Everyone knew Mikey Carroll, who tore things up.
Oh, yeah.
I just think, and they were saying they were getting letters from random people they didn't even know, just begging for a few quid.
I don't know. What's the pro here of going public?
Maybe a few $100,000 more from the Sun, so they can splash you on the front page. Maybe they're just looking for that fame. Yeah. People crave fame. Maybe that's why. But I don't think it's
something
a smart way.
To explore with exploring fame. Again, another topic for the podcast, Chris.
It is a topic because, as you say, if you've got millions at your disposal now, can you use other methods to create that fame that people are chasing rather than just going on the Sun, and then you create more problems for yourselves?
Exactly. I mean, this is something to look at. Winning lottery, you think it's a dream come true. Apparently, it can be a nightmare. And this is something we're going to explore. So we're in the right mindset when we do win the lottery.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen, Chris.
It's in the next year, probably.
Yeah. If it takes one episode.
That's fine.
10 episodes. 1,000 episodes.
No more than 2,000, though.
Why not?
That's almost 5 years. That's more than 5 years.
Okay, that's the goal. We're going to manifest winning the lotto within 5 years.
Yeah.
So how are we going to do it? I think we can move on to selecting next week's numbers.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, what are our thoughts on next week's numbers, Chris? What are you thinking? What numbers are screaming at you this week?
I'm looking out the window here where we are, Tony, and it's lovely and sunny. I've just checked my watch, 25 degrees, and I've been absolutely roasting over the last week.
It's been hot in London.
It's been really hot, hasn't it? And I think, 30 degrees or more over 3 or 4 days consecutively?
7.
7? You are winding me up.
I saw it in an article on the BBC. It was 7.
7 days in September. That has to be unprecedented.
It's the hottest September since 2016. If that's not significant, then I don't know what is.
Since 2016.
7,
That was the year where loads of people, famous people died, wasn't it, 2016?
I did that.
Which in and of itself has to be a sign. Is that the year? George Michael?
Oh, right.
David Bowie
memory.
was, yeah.
I think 7's up there. It's 7. Are we agreed on 7?
I'm going to say 7. It was David Beckham's number as well. So, yeah, I'm going with 7.
Okay, that's a good one.
He's a millionaire, so that's right, yeah.
There we go. I'm thinking it's weather themed. I don't know about you, but Saturday, we didn't win. Well, I didn't win the lotto, but I was sweating a lot that Saturday because it was 33 degrees Celsius, and that was a number that was screaming up at me. So I was like, 33.
33. I was certainly sweating. And, you know, you mentioned earlier the 3-ball set. Well, my 2-ball set was definitely sweating on Saturday. And if it was 33, that is crazy. Yeah, I think 33. It's a good number because that's the age Jesus died as well. So it's got significance to a lot of people.
Again, we're looking at divine intervention here.
Yeah, that's what we need. If we're going to win the lottery, what are the odds?
So far, not that great, but
yeah,
there's still a possibility.
Yeah.
So we've got 33.
33.
I think this is a topic that you were quite keen on this week, Chris.
Well, you mentioned Saturday.
Yeah.
And Saturday was the day where suspected terrorist Daniel Khalifa, or Khalife, I don't know how to pronounce it,
I'll go with Khalife,
was finally captured. And was, you know, I'm a bit disappointed in the guy. He made it out of prison, right, strapped to the bottom of a delivery van. And actually, you mentioned to me already that this is literally out of a film plot. It's not they need to make this into a film. This happened in a movie before, right?
Again, it makes it feel like there's credibility on actually prison escape via this method. I mean, first of all, he was ex-army or something?
Ex-army.
So you can't be a slouch in order to do this. So therefore, you got to give him props that he's a fit young guy. He didn't last that long, surprisingly, until he was caught. I was a little bit disappointed about that.
That's what I was going to say, because he escaped from Wandsworth prison, right?
Okay, yeah.
And he lasted 3 days or something like that.
Something like, a couple of days plus.
Couple of days, and you know that in itself is disappointing. But within those couple of days, he only made it as far as Chiswick. Now, how many miles away is it? That's just a couple of miles.
I mean, let's be honest, he did well to hold on to be able to get out of the vicinity of the prison.
That part, I give him props.
Yeah.
You know, he's strapped himself to the bottom of the delivery vehicle. Really good.
I was watching an interview on, I can't remember what news channel it was, and one of they had an authority figure commenting on his background. They made him sound like he was Jason Bourne. They were saying he's ex-army. Yeah. They train, their training is second to none. You know, he's adaptable. He knows how to work under pressure. It's like he can blend. He's basically that Jason Bourne type of character. So that hypes me up, that going this is going to be, they probably will make a Netflix documentary, who knows? But I thought this was going to span weeks. This is going to span him going through the country and people are going to be spotting him. Even much
Raoul Moat style.
Yeah. Get the Reddit crew on, let's do the Reddit sleuths. Let's pin his location.
That would have been exciting. And, that's why I mentioned Raoul Moat, because at least he gave us one night. Remember, Gaza went out.
I don't remember this story, sorry.
He was the guy in the northeast who went on the rampage with a gun.
Okay.
You have to look it up afterwards.
Okay.
But anyway, back to Khalifa, who didn't give us any fun at all. It's just...
But it shows that he was naive, and that comes with age. How old was he, Chris?
I think he was 21 years old.
And I think that 21 stuck out.
Yeah.
And I think are we making a choice that we're going to include that as one of the numbers for this upcoming lotto draw?
I think you made a really good point there. It's, he was immature. I think he focused too much on the kind of method to get out.
Yeah.
And not at all on what he would actually do once he got there, which is kind of, similar to what we're talking about with the lotto. We need to plan ahead. And that is what Daniel Khalifa wasn't able to do. He made a fantastic escape. And the moment he got out there, can you imagine Saul Goodman, for example?
Or Frankenfan Saul Goodman, yeah.
You get out, you break out. What about Shawshank Redemption?
Oh yeah, he kind of finessed the prisoners with it inside,
So I
would say he did all right, but let's be honest, in this day and age, you're not going to get far without help.
No.
If we talk about Saul Goodman, he had that vacuum cleaner number, a professional, new identity, cash to set him up.
Yeah. A few hundred grand,
whatever. Daniel, okay, he won't have his debit card or bank. Say if he was to have his bank card, he needed money. He would have to use that card or get cash out of the ATM,
and that traps him.
That would flag something to know his location. So you would need someone with cash to help him out. Just cold hard cash. So again, does that spark another idea that if we were to win the lottery, is it worth having a significant amount of cash buried somewhere that in case of things go pear-shaped, you've got cold hard cash in a suitcase somewhere for you to start over again? Couple hundred grand.
Just because anything can happen. Something could be falsely pinned on you and you're about to get sent down for a life sentence. And so you want to be able to make your escape. You don't want to be paying on Apple Pay or with your debit card or your credit card, whatever. Why not? So if that were you, where would you bury the cash?
I think this goes back to keeping quiet with the lottery winners. I'm just kidding. I don't know. This is something we should explore. But it's somewhere that it's easy access.
Yeah.
And stuff that obviously you're not going to tell anyone about. But you're right. When you talk about anything can happen, I mean, let's be honest. You're more likely to be killed by someone that you know.
Yeah.
Or a loved one. Or, immediate family member. So you come on, you win a significant amount of money. I would say there's more chance of you getting killed. Because they want something from you now. So not to scare. I mean, these are things that, it's good to prepare for these things. And like you said, having cash somewhere, it's not a bad idea.
It's funny you say all that about, you're most likely to be killed by someone you know, because I was really good mates with Daniel Khalifa back in his army days. So I was quite worried about it over the weekend. But thank God he messed it up. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, obviously you don't want to put it somewhere which is sort of easily identified.
Yeah.
So obviously coming to mind, you think about the woods, a forest, but you're talking about people you know. Why not put it under the noses of somebody that you do know? And you've got to identify, for example, a person or a couple where they're not going to move out of that place anytime soon. Just put it in their garden. Just bury it in their garden down at the back somewhere. It's like you're somebody's old grandparents and they're going to pass the home down.
That's not a bad idea, Chris.
Yeah.
It's somewhere not a lot of people... The only thing I would worry about that comes to mind is almost like having to dig it up again. Like we talk about a little kind of hatch or something.
It's too much manual labour. Oh, a hatch. Yeah, that's a good idea. Would you be able to... I'm not very good at DIY. So a lot of this sort of thing stresses me out a bit. I'd probably just put it in my storage cupboard.
I mean,
do you think it'll be alright there?
If you only know where it is.
Yeah.
There's a lock, maybe it could be...
In a safe?
A safe.
It should be a large safe with that much cash, but...
I think, again, it's something we can explore through through the podcast about where are probably some options of where you would put your money. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You want to have, as they say, we talk about even investing. You want to diversify your portfolio almost. So are we saying that definitely 21 is definitely a number with kind of Khalifa?
For Daniel Khalifa, yeah. And as you say, with this guy, really disappointed in the execution of his plan once he got out of prison. But really impressed with how he got out of there. As you say, it's like a movie plot, but what was that movie again where it actually was?
You know what? I actually don't know what movie it was from, but I saw, it's like on social media, you see these little clips of like movies, and you're like, that's really interesting. What movie did that come from? Because it's literally
strapped.
The same way he got, basically in this movie clip that I saw was a man was working in a prison workshop. It looked like he was making number plates or something. He intentionally damaged one. He goes, this is a damaged number plate that I'm making. He put it in a cupboard somewhere. And then it cut to the next scene where he's been doing this for a while. He's got all these number plates that have been made. He's kind of gaffer taped them all in together, creating one neat sheet of metal. Next scene, he sees an opening of a van that is just parked up there. He times it when a guard isn't looking, runs underneath, holds onto underneath the van, and then uses somehow, don't know how he does it, that kind of sheet of metal that's made up of little bits of other pieces of metal covers his back. So if someone was to look under the van, they'd just see kind of metal essentially. Made it out.
Is that what Daniel Khalifa, what inspired him to do it? Were any of the prison guards in on this? These are the questions we need to Must have been, surely.
Hopefully there'll be some developments, who knows?
Yeah, we demand to know more.
Yeah, and this can't happen again.
It can't happen again. But, what happened in this guy's life? I think this is something we need to explore as well, especially if we're going to be certain to use the number 21. I'm quite sure about it. What happened to this guy who I read an interview with one of his relatives who was unnamed, didn't want to be named, and he said he was really happy in the British Army. About a year ago, something changed. Something changed, but we don't know what it was. Something changed in this guy's life. Next thing we know, His Majesty's
terror suspect.
A terror suspect fleeing. But, I couldn't believe it.
Daniel Khalifa, well, again, 21.
21.
Next number that I had in my head, it was something that kind of stuck out, was number 19.
19, yeah.
And the reason why 19 came out was that I was just looking around, I was just doing my work, and then I see an article. I see undercover police officer. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I'm a big fan of those, undercover type stuff. I like undercover police movies. Who doesn't like The Departed?
Absolutely.
So I'm like, damn, this is real life stuff. So I'm reading an article where there's an undercover police officer has a fake identity, and he's deceived a woman into a 19-year relationship. They have a kid together. So he's almost like, he's living a double life.
So this undercover police officer lived a double life. He's obviously undercover. He's doing whatever that was.
Yeah.
And while undercover, he thought, look, I'm really going to get into character here. And I respect him for that, because he really I'm going to get properly into character here. I'm actually going to get married to this chick who I'm in deep with. I'm going to have a kid. And I'm going to raise this kid to have a proper ghetto upbringing. Is that what you think he did?
It's one of those things. It's like, you're undercover. You've got this identity. You're doing your thing. You meet a woman for however he met her. You start having a conversation. You're like, okay, I'm undercover, but I have needs.
Right. He told her that.
I'm just imagining. He's like attractive woman.
Yeah.
She likes me.
By the way, I'm undercover.
Yeah, I like her. He's probably thinking in his head, you know what? I'm just going over the flow, but it's probably not going to lead to anything. Yeah. Clearly he takes his job seriously, because he's a dedicated man. He's working undercover for the police. He's got to know what he's getting into. Not everyone could go, I'll be undercover police. There's certain, you've got to be part of the, your life's, I would say, in danger, on the line. You've got to thank our boys in blue for sure. Shout out to them. But then he's probably going, look, I have needs. He's only flesh and blood. He has, and he's like, a relationship occurs. Sometimes you can't choose what happens, and then before he knows it, he's one day it turns to 3, 10, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, and then at what point do you go? A year or two has gone by, and then you're like, oh, by the way, I'm not who I say I am. I'm another, he's probably gone like, this is awkward.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's probably gone, let me just play the long game. I mean, is she going to find out? Like 19 years, you have a kid.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
He's thinking, well, look, I'm actually going to risk blowing my cover if I tell her anything.
Yeah.
I can't. So he's actually just doing his job properly.
Exactly. I mean, I think that is quite noble in the regard that he's probably undercover for good reason.
Absolutely. I mean, do you trust the police? Absolutely.
Yeah. I do. But I would say that, he has needs to begin with.
Yeah.
And then he has a need to start a family, and that's only natural. Is he going to deprive himself from an opportunity for a child?
No.
So why not have the best of both? That's what he's probably thinking.
Just to be clear on it, obviously he's undercover cop. Does he have another family?
I didn't read the full. I just saw the number 19. When we talk about lotto, we're just looking for numbers.
We're just looking for the numbers to present themselves.
But if he did...
Yeah. Is it such a bad thing?
How would he balance that out? That's another question. Again, this talks about the notion of living a double life here. So when we talk about winning the lotto, you could totally go through... You could just pretend nothing's happened. You can live that double life. You go... I've won the lottery. I'm just going to go to work like normal. You could even have... You could go to your girlfriend. You just act normal. You don't even let her know. But you've got that money in the bank and you're just living. So you go, we're splitting the rent this month. Yes, we are. It's still 50-50,
I just say to her, have you seen inflation? It's above 8% still.
Yeah.
Based on that and everything else, cost of living, I'm going to have to put your rent up another 15%. And all the while I'm going out to Mayfair of an evening, when I say I'm working late, to my private members club that I've just signed up to. That's just a potential. I wouldn't do that. I'm just saying.
That's not ethically wrong, though. It's your money at the end of the day. And, who's to say that it's not, she's an independent woman, right?
She is. Yeah.
So, okay, you've won 4 million, but it's Saturday. It's her turn to pay dinner. Are you going to deny her the right to go, I'm bringing my equal weight to a relationship?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. These are modern time, Chris.
Absolutely not.
It's all about equality.
But, this is an important question, talking about your missus. Yeah. Would you tell your girlfriend, your partner, you said you wouldn't tell anyone, does that include your girlfriend that... And obviously you've been with your girlfriend for a while now, but let's say, okay, a few more years down the line, you're married.
You know what? I'm going to be sensible here and go back to my original point and just say, I'm going to keep quiet. I haven't said for how long, though. And this is something to explore
further on
about who would you tell and in what order. So to go back to, living a double life and undercover police, I think 19 years, what a stint. I think he's overshot on my expectations for that compared to Daniel Khalifa, who didn't last that long. This guy did 19 years.
Yeah, so this guy lasted 19 years. Daniel Khalifa, 2 days?
Yeah. Like that. He could do 19 years now. Now they got hold of him.
He'll do 19,000 years onto that.
Yeah. So we're on to our last number now, Chris.
Oh my goodness. We got 7, 30, 33, 21, 19. We've got one last number. And what's coming into your mind for that one?
So I was like, I'm too UK centric, Chris. I know we're playing the lotto. And it is a UK lottery.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to look at stateside.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I'm looking at current affairs here. I'm like, what numbers are out there? And something that grabbed my eye was, I saw Proud Boys. I'm like, who are the Proud Boys? And it says Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio was sentenced to 22 years in prison for his part in the US Jan 6 Capitol attack. So this is a few years back. This is 2020, I believe.
And this is what's crazy about it, because we all remember those riots and the Capitol attacks. And then you hear Proud Boys and you're like, aren't they tribute band at GAY. But
They sound like it. They sound like
not.
it. They sound like it. And I was like, who are they? I mean, I was looking into it. They said, like, apparently, you know, the reason why they did the right is they wanted Trump to stay in power post 2020. Again, who knows? 2024, he could come back. You know, again, that's another thing to explore. And I was like, who are the Proud Boys? It says apparently the Proud Boys are so-called Western chauvinistic group, often involved in street fighting with left-wing activists.
Right.
So I'm like, do I agree with that? I don't know. But I just saw, let's look at US, what numbers are coming out? 22 years, and that's the number I'm going to throw.
22, and was that the leader of Proud Boys?
Yes. Doing 22 years in prison.
22 years for his part in those riots where they stormed the Capitol building, the fount of democracy. And they took the law into their own hands and they said, we don't care about democracy. All we care about is Donald J. Trump.
Or maybe they thought they cared about democracy. That's why they did it.
Because they've been listening to, what was his name? Giuliani
Assange?
Yeah,
No.
the guy with the wig who fell off. What was his name?
I actually don't know.
Yeah.
But
Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani. Okay. But 22, that's the number I'm going to throw out there.
22, yeah.
So if we recap, so what are the numbers here, Chris? So numerical order, what we got here?
Yeah, so we had the number 7, the number 19, the number 21, the number 22, the number 30, and the number 33. And those were the numbers that have kind of hit us through the week. And I think we've got a good chance here.
You know what? I think these are the winning numbers, Chris. And we're going to find that out next week. I think this is the game. I'm going to play these numbers, and on next week's show, we're going to figure out if they came out or not. Imagine this. Could you imagine these coming out next week?
Do you mean Enrique Terrio, the Proud Boy, or?
No, he's got
you mean the numbers?
Yeah, the numbers.
Sorry,
the numbers.
I thought, yeah.
He could get. Who knows? I
He
feel
could
like
come out.
He might have a great
Proud
lawyer.
Boy.
He might have a great lawyer. Imagine that. The problem is that not everyone would know.
Yeah. What happens if people listening to this copy your numbers?
I guess we'll have to share the jackpot, wouldn't we?
Yeah, that would be a shame.
So I guess I think that brings us to the end, Chris.
Well, it's been really exciting. You know, I think there's a chance that we are going to bring this jackpot towards us.
And I think this. I've been playing lottery for so many years. I think
since Dale Winton
Supermarket Sweep days.
Yeah.
And I think.
Was it Mr. Blobby? Was he on the lottery at one point? I think. Noel Edmonds.
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
And I
It
think
used to be more of an event. You have to admit, back in the day, it was a big deal, wasn't it? The lottery.
I remember seeing Britney Spears on the lottery when she first hit me baby one more time.
No way.
It was on the lottery show. The lottery needs to be prime time slot for BBC One.
BBC One Saturday night. Yeah.
Saturday night.
Well, I tell you what, I always loved that Dale Winton game show.
Supermarket Sweep.
No, the one before the lottery. And what happened was they sat in the chair, and if they got one wrong, they're out of the chair. Somebody else moves in. And it's whoever's in the chair at the end or something like that, they win the jackpot. Not the lottery jackpot, this game show's jackpot.
So many opportunities out there, Chris, to win money. We just need to grab it by the horns.
Grab it by the balls. Grab it by the balls.
Grab it by the balls. So don't forget to review the podcast, subscribe, and I guess join us next week where we try to win the lottery.
And I'm sure we will.
Cheers, bye.